Welcome back everybody, Matt the Mad here. I went and saw Venom Let There Be Carnage yesterday. I'm actually one of those people that is a fan of the first Venom that came out in 2018. I'm also one of those people that said also, when you're like, I don't like Venom. Venom is weird. Venom feels like, not like the superhero movies they make now. I said, well, yeah, you're right. Venom feels like an early to mid 2000s comic book movie. From the editing to just the way it's shot, to the acting, the characters. And then it feels like something that fell in the middle of that 2005 comic book boom. With like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Thomas Jane's The Punisher, the Fantastic Four movie, Ghost Rider. You know, when we had that little bubble of X-Men movies. It's really, like I said, I was one of those people that like, you know, this feels like it's set in the Sam Raimi world. Even though there was a Venom in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. But I was like, if Tobey Maguire showed up right now on screen as Peter Parker, I would be like, yeah, it fits 100%. So, going into Venom Let There Be Carnage, I was expecting the same. And I got that. The positives. Tom Hardy. You know, Tom Hardy's one of those actors that you're so used to him being serious. Like from Inception, Warrior, The Dark Knight Rises, Lawless. I mean, he's 90%, 85 to 90% of the time, he's playing a serious role. You know? So, when he played Eddie Brock, Venom, in the first movie, and he really showed a comedic side to him, I'm like, you know, I never, because when they said, oh yeah, Tom Hardy's going to play Venom, I'm like, good. A serious actor who's known for serious roles, going to play this anti-hero. You know, Venom can be really evil, or he can be the lethal protector. Lethal, whatever one it is. But it was interesting, and it was a surprise to see Tom Hardy play more of a comedic, fun character than we're used to. And once again, in the sequel, Tom Hardy's funny all the time. His dynamic with Venom is perfect. It's like a bromance, a really twisted bromance, but a bromance. So once again, I like Tom Hardy in the role. It works. The CGI is even better than it was in the first movie. I think a lot of that has to do with the director this time around. Andy Serkis, yes, Andy Serkis, who played Golem, Kong, Caesar, and Snoke. As I like to call him, the king of motion capture. Having that background in motion capture really shows in this movie. The CGI is perfect. I mean, it really, really looks good in certain moments that you're like, is that real? Or is that CGI? I really can't tell. But once again, Andy Serkis has also learned probably from not only Peter Jackson, but probably even from Spielberg. He worked with Spielberg on that, The Adventures of Tintin movie 10 years ago. And that has some motion capture to it. And what do we know about Spielberg and CGI? Look at Jurassic Park. What do we learn from Jurassic Park? What is a wide shot? You know, more CGI. Make it CGI. More when it's close up, do as much practical makeup and effects, or like the animatronics in Jurassic Park. Why do you think the dinosaurs look so real in Jurassic Park, the original? Because when you have the close-up shots, it's the animatronic. And it looks so fucking real. But when it's a wide shot, it's CGI. So you don't notice all the little, when the CGI doesn't look that great. And you can tell that that's what Andy Serkis is doing in the Venom movie. Like I said, the Venom and Eddie Brock dynamic is great. It's like a bromance. I can watch a 2-hour film of just them going back and forth with one another. This movie is once again funny, has a lot of humor. I don't know anyone who wasn't laughing at least one or two or more jokes in the movie. I thought Woody Harrelson did a fine job. He was definitely playing that natural born killer's vibe to him. He plays a serial killer in this movie. Cletus Cassidy, who becomes Carnage. I like Woody Harrelson. I think he did a fine job. Would I have liked someone better in the role? Yes. Someone who's a little bit more of a weirdo, a freak, to play a serial killer? Yeah. The pacing, the movie's only 90 minutes long. It flies by. That's another thing. If you go back and watch a lot of the early 2000s comic book films, a lot of them are under that 2-hour mark. Or even Daredevil was only 1 hour and 40 minutes. So, there's a lot of action in the movie, humor, it's like, and I said Andy Serkis behind the director's chair. I thought he did a good job. This is not his first directing film. This is actually his third directorial film. His first film, Breathe, with the former Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, was a small independent drama film he did with Claire Foy also. Then he did his own version of The Jungle Book that was on Netflix, I think a couple of years ago, which a lot of motion capture work. All the animals were CGI. So, this was not his first movie, directorial-wise. But I think this is probably his better film. I think this is the one where he was able to maybe not put his stamp on it, other than for the CGI. And there's one part where they're doing the backstory of Cletus Cassidy, and they do it in animation form, which I thought was very interesting and creative, and I like that. But I thought, for a big budget film like this, he did a good job. But I would like to see what his flavor is that he brings to the table next. That really puts a stamp on where you watch it, you go, this is an Andy Serkis film. Now for the negatives, this movie's 90 minutes. A lot of action. A lot of back and forth between Eddie and Venom. But there's really no character development. There's the very little character development we get in this movie is between Eddie and Venom. Everybody else, even the villains, they have one villain in here that there's really no point to have that villain in the movie. There's no character development. I think the movie should have been 15 to 20 minutes longer, and then sprinkle in, some character development throughout the movie. It all doesn't have to be in one area. Just throughout the film would have been better. Naomi Harris plays the second villain, Shriek. She has a relationship with Cletus Cassidy, Woody Harrelson's character, and I didn't think she was needed. It was just we need another villain. Okay. Not only that, but Naomi Harris, I like Naomi Harris. A lot of people know her from the Bond movies, the recent ones on Moneypenny. But watching her in this movie, I don't know what it was, but her portrayal, her acting, her accent, reminded me of her in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies as the gypsy chick living in the shack in the bayou. You know who I'm talking about. The Saradama, whatever her name was, who becomes Calypso in the third one. Her performance and her acting really reminded me of her in that in Pirates of the Caribbean. When that was like 15 years ago. And I'm like, okay, this is odd. And like I said, I didn't think she was needed at all. Also, I think the movie should have been rated R. Your main villain is a serial killer. And we never see any blood in the movie. No blood when he's killing people. And then when he becomes Carnage, Carnage must be like me. Even worse than the Cletus Cassidy. And I think this movie would have been better rated R. Now I know why they did it, because hey, it's Sony and it's still in the Spider-Man universe, and they know that Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies are PG-13, but it's like, this movie would have been better rated R. Sorry. Or at least to up the violence of the movie. Also, Michelle Williams comes back as Anne, and I think she was wasted in this movie. She was better in the first film. Like I said, I'm not talking about her acting, I'm talking about the character doesn't do much in the movie. I mean, there's another actor like Michelle Williams is so used to playing serious roles, from Brokeback Mountain, Blue Valentine, Manchester by the Sea. You know, she's a lot of times playing the more serious role, like Tom Hardy. So, like in the first one, nice to see her kind of have a little fun here in the first one. I wish they did more with her in this movie. I mean, they really could have taken her out of the movie, and they would have been like, okay, especially because she's with another guy anyway. So, yeah, I think they wasted Michelle Williams in the movie. I mean, overall, I would probably give this movie a 3.9 out of 5. I still think the first Venom was actually better. More character development and stuff like that. Overall, I give it 3.9. Save for the post-credit scene. It's really good. I don't think it's as good as the one in Spider-Man Far From Home, but it's still in the Spider-Man universe, so you can almost say, so far the best post-credit scenes have been in Spider-Man films, in comic book movies. Interesting. But yeah, 3.9 out of 5 for Venom. Let There Be Carnage. This movie's only in theaters, so you have to go to the theater and watch it. The movie made $91 million opening weekend. Now this is the biggest opening for any movie since pre-pandemic. So, I'm sure we're going to get a Venom 3. Especially now. Anyway, Matt here. We got James Bond this week. So you know I'm going to be talking about Bond. James Bond.